Curious.com is a video-based learning platform that offers micro lessons on a host of different subjects. And they are launching their new iPhone app today. And I'm here with founder and CEO Justin Kitch, who's going to show us the new app. Take it away, Justin.
Yes, we're very excited to finally have Curious having its own iPhone app. And so we're going to show it to you today. You're getting the first peek of anybody at it. So very exciting. So we're looking at actually is the main launch screen, which is what we call the Discover queue, which allows you to discover lessons and teachers. And every time you flip through, this gives you a lesson of the day with an interesting, what we call a curio. Here's new teachers, and you can see that they keep tumbling in. You have collections, things like Business Savvy and Kids Only and Song and Dance and Sunset Magazine, where we have a whole collection of lessons from them. Here's some actual lessons that are featured, things like how to sew a purse or do Pilates. And then you have, of course, the awesome drawer that everyone uses now in apps on iOS. And here we have all of our collections to choose from, which you see there's quite a few. And we also have my own lessons that I've already enrolled in. So once you've signed up for Curious, you can actually keep track of all the lessons that you're taking, and here it shows you the percentage that you've completed. So for example, I'm 64% complete on a wine tasting 101. And if I click on that, I can get in and it'll immediately going to take me back to where I was. I actually haven't watched this on the phone, I've been watching this on the web, and now I can see the lesson right where I was before. And I've got metadata here underneath it with a small shot of the lesson, and I can see things like the attachments. Here it's showing me some products that she's mentioning, also giving me an opportunity to join the wine club that she's talking about, shows comments that have been left by learners on this lesson, and shows me all the other lessons that are either by this same teacher or related lessons. But the cool thing is when I actually flip it sideways, now I'm in the full screen. And when we first decided to do an iPhone app, we were a little nervous that, well, this is really such an immersive video experience, and it's so important to be able to watch the high quality video of the lessons that we have on Curious. We were a little worried that maybe the form factor wasn't going to be as conducive as something like an iPad, but in fact, we've now completely changed our mind about that, because you can see how beautiful the video is when it looks full bleed there, and I now have access to all of my controls at the bottom, and I can see all of the sections of my wine tasting 101 lesson. I happen to be in one called Tasting Tips right now, and she's explaining to me the chart that she uses to measure the different characteristics of a wine. She's the wine editor for Sunset Magazine, and she is talking about the body and the fruit. In a second, I think she's going to talk about the acidity. And when I'm done with this section, with a swipe, I can get to the end of the section, which is now going to ask me an exercise. So if I have been paying attention, and how long does it take for your tongue to absorb flavors, I'm going to say half a second and submit. I got it wrong. It says maybe second time's a charm. Submit again. I got it wrong again. It says so close. I'm going to go for 2 seconds. Oh no, come on, really? And it's 4 seconds, I guess. And now I'm a rock star. And then it gives me a little bit more of an explanation, and I can continue on to the next section. Now it gives me a little warning that I'm going on to the how to preserve an open bottle section of the lesson. So this bar at the bottom is sort of a signature of Curious's technology. It's how we break up our lessons into conceptual chunks. It's one of the big things that distinguishes us from just a flat video like you might find on YouTube, because now I can go back and forth navigating amongst these concepts. I can come back later, and every section has an exercise at the end. And at the very end of the lesson, I can actually submit a video or a photo of me doing whatever I've been assigned to do to get the teacher to give me some feedback. And that's also a really great experience from the iOS. Anytime I want, I can flip it back over. She keeps talking. Now I've got access to other things. Maybe I'm getting a little bit bored, and I want to see what else is available here. I see there's another more advanced wine lesson. I could go right to that. I could learn about the congas. I actually did that. I've learned 9% of the congas already, which is quite interesting. Or if I don't like any of those, I can at any time go do a search. And I'm actually, a lesson that I really enjoy taking is on wilderness survival, because you never know when you're going to need that. And so if I search for wilderness, I can now find all of the lessons that have to do with wilderness on Curious. Of course, these are the same lessons that are available on the website. So when a teacher builds lessons on the website, they also all work on the phone. So if I were to go to this, I could jump immediately where I was on my wilderness training, which you can see I was at 21%, and then I can repeat the same thing again. So we're really excited about having Curious on the phone, and we think it's going to dramatically expand the possibilities of how you can learn, because many of the learning activities that you do, especially in something like Curious, you have to do with doing things when you're not at your computer. And so super excited to share that with the world.
So Justin, the launch of the iPhone app follows the launch of the iPad, your first iPad app in August. I'm curious how mobile has become part of the Curious experience and what it means for you guys over the long term?
Sure. We always knew that Curious was going to be a very mobile app, but we thought the iPad would be the primary format or form factor that we would focus on at the beginning. And so we launched on the web in May. We got the iPad app out in the end of the summer. And what we realized very quickly is that we still had an awful lot of mobile users coming from their phones. And so we rapidly set about at actually creating an app for the phone. And we think it's going to be a huge part. I think that the ability to have your lessons in your pocket when you're learning something that's having to do with your garden or the wood shop or changing a tire or fixing your bike, these kinds of things obviously are messy, and you don't know in advance you're going to need to learn them. Even buying the right turkey for Thanksgiving, I found myself looking at the prototype that I had in my pocket of the Curious iPhone app because I wanted to make sure I was getting the right kind of turkey. So I think it's going to be really big.
So for skills-based learning, especially if you have the ability to take this with you as you're learning to fix your car, and this is a key part of the experience. Do you think that's true for all learning platforms, or is this what's unique to Curious?
Well, I think Curious is unique because we're so focused on lifelong learning and skills-based learning. We're not trying to become pure academic learning. We do have some of that on the platform, and we love having that kind of content on the platform, but we're mostly about doing things that just make your life fuller. And so a lot of those things are something that you can learn in line when you're waiting to get your coffee, or when you're out and unexpectedly find that you have some extra time, or on a plane that you'd want to be able to do that. So we have all kinds of designs to make sure you can learn wherever you go, instead of just pulling out your phone and playing Angry Birds all the time or Candy Crush.
How much usage are you guys seeing on mobile today? How much is that becoming?
Yeah, it's rapidly becoming really large. I mean, in general, the website's growing so fast, and then about 40 to 50% of all of our traffic is coming from either a tablet or a phone.
Excellent. So tell me just quickly, what's the vision look like for 2014? What can we expect from you guys?
Yeah, well, more and more lessons and teachers. We just crossed the 500 teacher threshold, which was exciting. We launched with 100 teachers. We're up to over 500 now, and we have thousands and thousands of lessons coming on. And so I think in the next year you're going to see us cross some big numbers in the number of lessons, but you're also going to see us focusing more on different ways for you to engage with the teachers and for the teachers to make money, which is of course the long-term goal, is to make this whole thing into a learning economy.
And from that, there's a new generation of learning platforms, all following in kind of the Khan Academy footsteps. I'm curious how you guys plan to survive and differentiate in this world that seems to be ever more crowded.
I mean, the great thing when you're a publishing platform is that you are just a place or a marketplace for people to come and find learning and to teach things. So all the people who are content creators are actually going to want to have their content on as many platforms as possible. So I think that's a very smart survival strategy, and it also makes you pertinent as long as you can keep delivering a unique form of learning. And for us, it's very short format, it's fun and entertaining, it's very diverse and skills-based, and that kind of keeps us fresh and different from a lot of the more kind of dry and traditional learning opportunities.
And can users, are users working towards a particular goal, obviously to become more competent in whatever skill that they want, but I mean, we've seen badges proliferate across the web. So can you earn a badge? Can you potentially earn
right now, we're just starting to roll out a few of those features, and in fact, we'll have some for the new year that are going to be pretty exciting about letting people kind of make pledges and say that they want to become a lifelong learner and they want to pledge a certain amount of time to do that every week. But yeah, it's more about the love of learning and continuing to find that as a source of fun and entertainment, as opposed to just the old video games and TV and iPhone apps that you play. Like, maybe we could take a little bit of our time and try to keep learning and learning new skills and different perspectives on the world. So that's the goal.
Quickly, what's the most popular subject on Curious?
There's like a top 10 that are all really kind of tied, but it's sports, crafting, foreign language, arts and photography, cooking, and a couple different
so a number of them.
So yeah, it's really nice and broad, and that's what's cool about it, is that our learners are taking multiple lessons in different subjects.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Justin, and go check it out.